And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? I am absolutely exhausted.
Wait, what?
I'm tired, man. I'm tired. We had a lot of stuff going in Hearthstone, which we'll talk about later. But I haven't had a day off in almost 2 weeks.
Days off. What is this that you speak of?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. My second job had a government contract where they asked for volunteers to work Saturday and gave everybody $200 bonus for coming in. And while I only had to work an hour and a half, it was a lot of work in an hour and a half. But I got an extra $200, so uh, I'm physically exhausted from work. I've had some Hearthstone time. I'm kind of bouncing that Diamond 4, Diamond 3 ranking, so I don't know if I'm only really going to have next Saturday to try to push for Legend. So this might be the first time in like 4 years I don't get Legend. I know every month I say, "Oh, I might not get Legend this month," but this one might actually be the month where I don't have the time between the 60-hour work weeks, 60-hour plus works weeks, because we're getting short-handed now. So our 5 hours, our 4 hour shifts are closer to 4.5 to 5 hours now. So I'm tired. But there's a lot of good stuff going on in Hearthstone with the Nerfs and stuff. But before we get to that, how's your week been?
My week's been good. Actually did get to play a little Battlegrounds this week. I got to play the new hero, Shutterwalk,
Oh,
with the
cool.
little Shutterling.
Which we'll talk
Um,
about that a little bit later because I'm interested
yeah,
to know how it went.
yeah, and then I've just been grinding away on knocking out my quests and advancing along the rewards track. I finally hit rewards track rank 50, which got me the other random legendary. So
Oh,
going
cool.
in, I was only missing two legendaries. So that got me one of the two I was missing, which happened to be the priest quest line. And then I crafted the last one I needed, which was the Rat King, and I have now completed my set of United in Stormwind. So I was able to get the new
Nice.
coin, and that's another set in the books that I don't have to worry about, and I'm excited to be at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm 60 on the rewards track.
Okay.
Which I just said I haven't had much time to play Hearthstone, but I am getting my dailies done.
Mm-hmm.
I am sneaking in some
Right.
bathroom game grinds or bathroom battlegrounds, during the day while I'm at work or on my break or whatever. I can't at my second job because I don't allow cell phones in the building, but during the day I get a little bit here and there, but normally I'd probably be closer to like pushing for 90 already. Um, just because that's how I play. I used to put in like 25, 30 hours a week in
Mm-hmm.
Hearthstone, and now I'm lucky to get like maybe 8 to 10 hours on the weekend mainly.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, the rewards track is going pretty good for me. It's so that's an interesting discussion. Well, I don't have this in the show notes, but everybody I've talked to is really happy with the rewards track and the pace they're going and the rewards they're getting. And I know they beefed those up a little bit to appease a lot of the complaints from content creators and the community at large right as soon as it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they even said most of those rewards they added were going to be special events that they just aren't going to do now. So they really didn't add much. So I think I brought this up before, and I like to bring it up again. Do you think we jumped the gun complaining about rewards track, and if we would have just given it a full season, we would have been happy with it?
I do. I do. I
Yeah, I do too.
I'm really, like I said, I've this is our third rewards track
Yeah.
since they introduced this new system, and I've been really happy with the amount of gold and other rewards that have been available on these progression tracks. I was able to do what I've done since the beginning of Hearthstone, which was buy an additional 50 packs with gold, and I didn't even deplete my entire gold supply. So I still have gold to do duels and arenas, and I'm already a jump start ahead on the next rewards track in, 3 months.
Yeah, I think if I even if I'm playing the minimal that I'm playing right now, when the next set comes out, I could possibly even go without buying any of the bundles and still have close to a full collection because I think at that rate I could probably get 150 packs if my gold progression keeps going the way it's going. So I'm really happy with the rewards track, and I think it's kind of a lesson we learned when we see something at face value, even if we do the math in the background and it doesn't seem, exceedingly beneficial to us, give it a second, at least pay attention to it and then complain about it. And because Team 5 and Blizzard have shown they will give you retroactive rewards if they feel something was wrong. So let it play out a little bit and then come to a decision or a conclusion, because I think we jumped the gun on that, and a lot of that was kind of fire starter content creators like Zeddy. I think I've never been quiet about how I feel about Zeddy. I can't stand how he just kind of instigates problems that aren't even a problem just so he can be the first one to report on it or get more clicks on his YouTube videos. That's just my personal opinion on him. I know a lot of people like him. He has a big fan base, but I think there are better sources of news, and I mean Solemn also didn't like the rewards track, but I think he reported on it better and gave it a little bit of time than somebody like Zeddy did. So maybe don't pay attention to some of those screamers and people that are saying the end of the world is nigh, those doomsayers, and come to your own conclusions on it, because I think the rewards track was fine, especially if they were going to give us events throughout the season, which they haven't done. I know a lot of people said, well, why don't you beef up the rewards and still do the events? But this is why, because look how much surplus resources we have, and sure, it would have been a benefit to us, but at the same time, Team 5 has to make this profitable, and the more gold and dust you have for free sources, the less likely you're going to purchase anything. And while Team 5 has been very generous to the player base, in the end, their jobs rely on us purchasing things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's in a great spot. I hope they don't feel the need to make any changes to the reward track, because I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really happy with it, and I hope it continues kind of the way it's trending, because it's one of the things I look forward to almost probably more than the new cards.
You're a rewards
the new
track
reset of the rewards
player.
track.
Yeah, because I notice every week we talk about what you do. Your big focus is, this is how much I got on the rewards track. This is where I am on the rewards track, and
I really feel like it helps me to keep logging in and driving my progression.
I see, and I don't see it that way. I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't view it as
right. But you were like you said, you were logging in and playing 20 hours a week anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not. I had no real reason other than to log in, do my dailies, log out.
Exactly.
And
see,
now I feel like I have more of a reason to actually log in and play extra games to try to progress.
See, not a lot of people push the way I do, and I kind of gauge my progression based on what rank I'm at through the month, my standard rank, not the rewards track. Because if I'm pushing on the standard rank, the rewards track's just going to happen. But for somebody like you that doesn't really worry about your standard rank or doesn't even play a lot of standard, they play duels and
Yeah.
they play battlegrounds, or maybe you play arena. The rewards track is perfect for keeping that progression. I am curious, and again, I'm coming up with things on the fly that aren't in the show notes. I'm curious to see how the rewards track's going to play when Mercenaries comes out,
Oh,
or if the
so
rewards track
excited for
will
that.
even have anything to do with Mercenaries, because we don't know a lot about Mercenaries, but they are taking the servers down this Tuesday. I noticed that pop up on my launcher yesterday, or it might have been before yesterday, but that's when I noticed it. And they were supposed to have news about Mercenaries late August, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's currently, as we're recording this, the 22nd, Sunday. So maybe that patch has something to do. Maybe it's a pre-patch for the announcement of Mercenaries, where they put the game files in on Tuesday and then it goes live the following week, or maybe it goes live Thursday or something like that. And so far from what we've seen, it's going to be a gotcha style game, almost like a hero collector, or mercenary collector, I guess, as you might say it for this, which I know a lot of people aren't really excited about, but I personally am, because I play a lot of those type of games, and it can allow me to drop one of them that I don't really like that much for mercenaries if it's good enough. So I would like to see how Mercenaries plays into the rewards track. I would think there should be some kind of link to it, just to encourage people to, there may be strictly Mercenaries players, and if they say, "Oh, there's nothing in the rewards track for me," then I will just not buy the rewards pass. So there should be something for them, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how they implement Mercenaries along with the rewards track. That'll be really neat.
Yeah, me too. So, all right. Well, that's going to bring us to this week's news and discussion. And we are talking about patch 21.0.3 that just went live this past Tuesday. So if you guys listened to last week's episode, I had Matt at Arms on, and he and I were kind of theory crafting some ideas at some of these nerfs. And
and he got some of them.
As is usually the case, Matt at Arms is always well informed, and yeah, he nailed some of these. So
Matt at Arms, first off, before we get into the patch notes, Matt at Arms, a lot of people have asked, is Matt at Arms still on the show? He is still part of the Hero Power podcast crew. Unfortunately, with the way our recordings go, he can't always be on a live show, but he helps us prep every single week. Most of the time when we say something very intelligent and smart on the show, it's because we're reading it out of Discord because Matt at Arms said it. So a lot of these predictions, it's no surprise that Matt at Arms nailed them, because he's very intelligent when it comes to the game. He's very analytical. And I want to say thank you, Matt at Arms, for covering for me last week. Because I got out of work and I had to go right to bed. It was too exhausting. So let's get into these the standard updates.
Yeah, so one of the first changes up was one we talked about and expected, and that was in Cantor's Flow. So in Cantor's Flow went from 2 mana up to 3 mana. And the ability remained the same, reduce the cost of the spells in your deck by 1. This didn't really affect anything. I mean, it's still just as prevalent, if maybe only a turn slower.
And we're going to say this a lot. So obviously this weakened No Minion Mage, and the quest version of No Minion Mage. It weakened it, of course. However, a lot of these changes kind of shifted the balance of what decks are good. And the deck you guys played last week, the Warlock deck, has kind of risen in popularity because of that.
Mm.
Even after the nerf of Incantor's Flow, no Minion Mage beats Warlock consistently. So people continue to just play that stock list with Incantor's Flow bumped up to 3, and they're beating the Warlocks. So this, I'm going to be saying this quite a bit. This is not a card I would disenchant unless you have extras. And Incantor's Flow is very much still playable in that deck.
Yeah. You know what else just beats Warlock is the new Demon Hunter Glide deck. So just a heads up, you guys are going to get to see that deck, that Demon Hunter Glide deck, on next week's show. So make sure you tune in next week as well.
Yeah, we just saw this list before show went on, and we haven't had enough time to look at it, so we weren't comfortable playing it this week, but I think it's going to stick around. As long as it's still in the meta and doing well, we're probably going to play it next week. Speaking of Demon Hunter.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We have Elginoth. I think this is one I mentioned in our Discord that I thought was going to happen. It was a 4-mana, 2/6 minion with lifesteal. Your lifesteal damages the enemy hero instead of healing you, and it's a legendary. And it was the crux of OTK Demon Hunter. Well, it has been changed to a 6-mana 4/8.
Yeah. So plus 2 to all the numbers.
Vicious Syndicate podcast with Zacho and Ridiculous Hat talked about the need to nerf this, and they were hoping it would go up at least to 6 mana just so that this deck can be nuked from orbit, I believe was their exact quoted terminology. This deck is still being played. The reductions in the quests are enough to still get Elginoth off. Now, before Elginoth was, that OTK combo was going down as early as turn 4. So that's not happening anymore. But this Elginoth OTK, if you're an Elginoth OTK fan and you've piloted this deck really well, you could probably still pull off some turn 7 lethals. And the meta's been slowed down a bit that you can still win. I've heard reports of the current Elginoth OTK deck after the nerfs still beating Face Hunter, which shouldn't be beating them. I mean, it probably is a low win rate against Face Hunter, but you can still curve out perfectly and beat Face Hunter. So, again, this is another nerf that I wouldn't disenchant it unless you really don't like OTK Demon Hunter and just don't ever play the deck at all. If you play it at all or have played it in the past, I'd still keep this card. It's still playable.
Yeah. Next up, we saw a change to the Warlock Minion Dark Glare. So Dark Glare was a 2-mana 2/3. After your hero takes damage, refresh a mana crystal. It's now going to be a 3-mana 3/4. So
this is like almost a reversion, because the original stats was 3-mana 3/4, but after your hero takes damage, refresh 2 mana crystals. So they basically reverted the stats and mana back to the original and left the text inside, which I said they should have done in the first place. I don't think the mana reduction, the cost of the card should have went down. Again, I played 3 Warlocks yesterday that were still running Dark Glare, and 2 of them beat me.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's that. Again, another nerf that the card's still playable. It's a trend we're seeing here. To me, this tells me Team 5 is doing a good job of internal testing, and maybe that extra week they took allowed them to make these balance changes in a way that the cards are still playable.
Yeah. Yeah, because the next card, again, still seeing it played. Battleground Battlemaster. Was a 5-mana 5/5. Adjacent minions have Wind Fury. It's now a 6-mana 5/5. Adjacent
still
minions
playable.
Still have Wind Fury. Still playable. You know, you guys saw us play this card in our Warlock deck last week. You drop a couple of 0-mana Flesh Giants and then drop this guy on the next turn and just go to town. So
I'm currently playing that Warlock deck you played last week. This week after nerfs, which has a couple Nerf cards in it.
Yep.
And that deck is still sitting at about a 57% win rate for me. So yeah, still playable. Don't disenchant it, because Battleground Battlemaster, while I don't think it's as good in Paladin, which we're going to be playing Paladin today, kind of show that because of another nerf, it's still really good in Warlock to put down flesh giants, that you put in between flesh giants that you put out really early in the game.
All right. Next up, we have the Kolkar Pack Runner. So this was a 2-mana 2/3. After you cast a spell, summon a 1/1 hyena with rush. It's now again a 3-mana 3/4. So it got the exact same treatment Dark Glare got.
I faced 2 Face Hunter yesterday, and they were still running this in their deck. Again, every single card we've talked about, I have actually seen on the ladder being played and still doing well. I think in those games, one beat me just because of quick pressure, and I was able to beat the other one. But if they had another turn, they probably would have done it. So maybe the nerf affected that specific game, but ultimately, Kolkar Pack Runner, it's actually really good body, because usually if you play it on 3 as a 3/4, it kind of sticks.
Mm-hmm. All right. Then we've got the Granite Forgeborn. So this was a 4-mana 4/5 battle cry. Reduce the cost of elementals in your hand and deck by 1. This has been revised to a 4-mana 4/4. So they took away 1 toughness on this. Again, I think the battle cry is what it is. Elemental Shaman is a tier 1 deck out there right now, and I don't think this is going to affect it.
This is still in it. I played against a countless Granite Forgeborns yesterday. On the little bit of time I was able to play, I think I got like 3 or 4 different shamans, and half of those were elemental, and they were running Granite Forgeborn. I don't think Elemental Shaman is the best shaman to play right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are playing Elemental Shaman, this card's still in it. There's no reason to disenchant it.
Yeah. Then you've got Conviction. So Conviction was a 1-mana paladin spell. Give an enemy friendly minion +3, or give a random friendly minion +3 attack. Upgrades at 5, upgrades at 10. Yeah. Basically, the only change they made here is they took the mana cost from 1 to 2.
Yeah, and this is the only card that I would consider questionable to play. We are playing it in our deck this week because we're playing a deck that was popular before the nerfs, but still popular after the nerfs. It's going to be the Handbuff Paladin, and so we kind of want to see how this card is affected. I think on its own, it's still playable. However, it can't be coupled with the Battleground Battlemaster as easily, because that's now an 8-mana combo instead of a 6-mana combo. So I think it's still playable, very much playable in Paladin, but it doesn't have that punch, that almost like OP overpoweredness that it had with the Battleground Battlemaster. So this is probably the most impactful nerf when it comes to whether the card's playable or not.
Okay. And then the last standard update card we saw was to Flesh Giant. And Flesh Giant went from 8-mana 8/8 to a 9-mana 8/8. Its ability remained the same, so now you just gotta take damage or heal 1 additional time to get that proc down to 0. And again, not going to affect the playability of this card.
Yeah, I'm still playing it. I heard a funny tweet that somebody said that Flesh Giant was nerfed from a turn 4 0-mana 8/8 to a turn 4 0-mana 8/8. Because if you're doing your quest progress and you have all of your key cards early, you can get this down You can actually adjust your health on your turn 9 times by turn 4. I got it. It's highly unlikely to do that, but if you can proc your quests
Mm-hmm.
in a specific urgency, and I was able to get the second part of the quest done on turn 4, and then all of a sudden my flesh giant was 0 mana. So it can still happen.
Yep. All right. So that was all of the standard updated nerfs. I would like to say thank you to Team 5 for making the change to Elginoth. I had both a regular Elginoth and a golden Elginoth, so that
Wow.
allotted me an additional 3,200 dust.
No, more than that.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Well, if you did just disenchanted the golden, yes.
Yeah, all I did was disenchant the golden. Yeah,
If you
I
disenchanted both, give me
kept
more.
kept the original. Gotta have it for the set. So
So here's my question. I don't know how much standard you've played this week, but how do you think these balance changes have impacted the meta?
um, I mean they were definitely I don't know how best to word this. I don't think it impacted the meta kind of as Team 5 thought they might, because like we said, out of all of those cards and changes, only one of them is a suspected possibility at being removed from a deck. All the other cards are still seeing play just as regular as they were prior. Do I think it has slowed the meta down any? Not really that I've seen. Most decks are still winning by turn 6 or turn 7. So
Yeah, but I would say that has slowed the meta down because before the balance changes, people, I mean, Il'gynoth was going off on turn 4 and Facehunter was beating you on turn 5. So I think it has slowed the meta
but
down.
is that considered slow by if you're
No,
still losing on turn 6?
well, okay, so there's a difference between saying that the meta is now slow than saying the meta has slowed down. I don't think the meta is slow. We
Yeah.
still are in a
Yeah.
very aggressive meta. However, that aggressive meta has been slowed down, which opens the door for a few more control style decks. The deck you played last week is still playable. The Warlock deck, the Handlock, and it could be considered as a control style Warlock. A lot of times you're not even relying on completing the last part of the quest before you've solidified the game. I don't want to say won the game because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times you're not winning the game at that point. Your opponent just concedes because you've been able to heal out of range. I'm looking at the tier list on HS Replay. The tier 1 decks are Secret Paladin, which we saw that kind of trending right before the balance changes, Elemental Shaman, Quest Shaman, Aggro Druid, which is really interesting, and Quest Warlock. So of those, Elemental Shaman, arguably Secret Paladin because of conviction, and Quest Warlock were in the nerfed class categories. And then your tier 2 classes decks are Face Hunter, Handbuff Paladin, Aggro Elemental Shaman, Death Rattle Demon Hunter, Aggro Shadow Priest, Fell Rattle Demon Hunter, and Quest Rogue. And that kind of lines up your 50% plus decks with Quest Mage dropping down to tier 3. I think it has made some major adjustments to the win rates
Mm-hmm.
of a lot of these decks, but it hasn't like tanked anything to the unplayable status or boosted an unnerfed class up to a point where it's like the top dog. Um, I think Secret Paladin's is the top of the list at 55.47% win rate, and I think a lot of that is, and I'm looking at Diamond 4 through 1 rankings that pertain to me. I think a lot of that was already fleshing out before the nerfs hit, so that was kind of something that Handbuff Paladin was going to become tier 2 anyways.
Yeah.
But I think we have seen a meta shakeup, but it's not totally like a brand new meta like people were hoping would happen.
Right.
With 8 nerfs, you think, oh, we're going to have a brand new meta. No, it's still the same meta. It's just been shaken up a little bit. And I'm fine with that. We have Mercenaries content hopefully coming out soon. We have the mini set. We're probably 2-3 weeks outside for the mini set. So we're going to have some shakeups to the game, whether it's in standard or not. And I'm excited for it. I think Team 5, through everything that's going on at Blizzard right now, which we didn't report on because there's no new news about that, but everything going on at Blizzard right now, a lot of your teams in Blizzard, the Blizzard studio, have halted production or slowed down their production. And Team 5 is the only team, my wife was mentioning it yesterday or the other day, that Team 5 seems to be the only one on the Hearthstone team that seems to be working at Blizzard.
Yeah.
And I really have to commend Team 5 because it's a really bad time to want to work on a game at Blizzard. And the fact that they're still creating content and doing things, obviously they're still protesting and standing in solidarity with their other employees throughout the company. But at the same time, they really want to make good content for their players because they're passionate about their player base. Mm-hmm. And for that, I thank you guys.
Absolutely. Okay, so that brings us to the next part of the patch notes, and that's Battlegrounds updates. They have brought back a reworked Shudderwock into the hero pool. And so if you guys remember previously, Shudderwock's hero power was Burbling. Cost 1. Your next battle cry this turn triggers twice. Well, they've now changed that, and his new hero power is called Snickersnack. And it costs 0. You can add a 1/1 Shudderling to your hand that repeats all battle cries you've played. You can only use this hero power twice per game.
So I played some games trying to get Shudderwock, and I got some opponents that were Shudderwock. Did you play any of Shudderwock, and how was it?
I did. So I got pretty early in the week. I got a game as Shudderwock, and I was lucky enough to get beasts as my tribe. So there are a few battle cries in beasts. So what I was able to do was get a couple of what's the one that gives a beast +2/+2 in taunt?
The
Battlemaster.
Not Battlemaster, but yeah.
Houndmaster.
That's right.
Yeah.
I knew it had
so
Master
I was able to get quite a few Houndmasters, and to be able to buff up my minions, apply the taunts, and then play the Shudderling, and have all of those buffs and taunts repeat on my minions was pretty nice. I finished like 4th, I think, with Shudderwock when I played it. It's really about knowing when is the right time to use your hero power, because you can only do it twice, and having those battle cries kind of on the stack so that you can get those additional buffs and get the maximum out of those additional buffs.
So there's this weird combo. The one good thing is the 0 cost, which I'll talk about that in the middle, what I think about it. But it's 0 cost, which means you can actually do it on turn 1 and turn 2, because you can only do it twice. But you you can play that minion at any time, and it gets all the battle cries up to that point you played it, not when you created it.
Yeah.
So I personally think that it should be 3 mana. I think it should cost the cost of a minion because it seems really overpowered late game, maybe not early game. One combo people are using is they're making sure to buy a Faceless Tavern Goer, which is, if you don't know, it's not purchased that often. It's a tier 5 4/4 minion.
Faceless Tavern Goer is one of the best minions in the game.
Oh, really? Because I don't use it that much.
Yes.
But again, I'm not as good at it. But it has Battlecry, choose a minion in Bob's Tavern, transform into a plain copy of it. And then you also get the Amalgam, and you play it at one point. Then when you play your, what's it called?
Shutterling?
Snicker Snack?
Yeah.
The Shutterling? When you ever use your Snicker Snack to get the Shutterling, you position your minions, or you buy up your opponent, Bob's Tavern, to the point that all that's left is the Ghoul. I'm trying to remember the name, the Unstable Ghoul, which is a tier 2 1/3 taunt. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions, and you want your Tavern Goer to turn into the Unstable Ghoul, and then when your Battle Cry, or your it's not the Tavern Goer, the Snicker Snack turns into the Unstable Ghoul, then the Amalgam goes off, and if it hits poison, you now have an Unstable Ghoul with Poisonous.
Oh, wow.
Now it's very Christmas land, everything has to line up absolutely perfectly, but it is a devastating combo to pull off.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Now, mind you, you're damaging all minions, so you're also damaging your own, so you need to make sure you have token minions coming out, or divine shields, or things like that. So
stuff that can survive.
There's obviously a high skill cap with making that play work. I personally think that the hero power should cost 3, which is the cost of a minion, because these minions, while they're just 1/1s, are super overpowered with their battle cries. So I think there should be, maybe not 3, maybe 2, but there should be a cost in creating that minion that makes it so you don't just buy them turn 1, turn 2, and then forget about your hero power the rest of the game and just play the minion whenever it's optimal to play the minion.
Yeah. So we also had some hero updates. Now, I have not gotten to play any of these heroes since the update. But we had Dancing Daryl. His old hero power ability was, after you sell a minion, randomly give a minion in Bob's Tavern +1/+1 twice. His new ability is, after you sell a minion, randomly give a minion in Bob's Tavern +1/+1 3 times. So you get an additional +1/+1 buff now with Dancing Daryl.
See, I remember when Dancing Daryl was the way to play, and then he's kind of been power crept. I haven't been able to play him yet. I did play against 2 Dancing Daryls, and both went out like 7th and 8th, I think they were. So I don't know if this change has helped him.
We'll have to play some more games and find out. Then we had a change to Fungalmancer Flurgle. Fungalmancer Flurgle's old passive ability was, after you sell a Murloc, add a random Murloc to Bob's Tavern. The new one is, after you sell a minion, add a random Murloc to Bob's Tavern. So this just got much better.
Yeah, I actually got to play as Flurgle, and I think I got second that game. Being able to just buy a useful minion and sell it, and guaranteed get yourself a Murloc instead of weakening your The problem before is you're weakening your warband by selling Murlocs to get more Murlocs.
Yeah.
And while that's good late game because you're mainly buying buff Murlocs to sell the buff Murlocs, you're not always going to get a Murloc in Bob's Tavern to be able to buy and sell. And in early game, it's really bad because you're not really building up your warband with Murlocs the way you want, because you have to buy Murlocs, and the only real efficient way of doing it was getting the Tide Hunters that gave you a token. You sell the token, and then you're actually up a Murloc, kind of. You're up stat wise, but you're not up number of Murlocs. The changing it to a minion has really increased the power level of Flurgle, and I think he's going to be meta.
Yeah, this is a really strong change, and I'm looking forward to playing Flurgle next. Then we saw a change to Maeve Shadowsong. Her old ability was make a minion in Bob's Tavern dormant. After 3 turns, get it with +1/+1. The new ability is cost 1, make a minion in Bob's Tavern dormant. After 3 turns, get it with +2/+2. So Maeve was not one of the better heroes prior to
she was the worst.
To this
she
nerf.
Was the worst. According to HS Replay, she was literally the worst.
I don't think this helps her. I just don't think this is enough. I just don't see her. She might not be the bottom of the list anymore. She might have moved up 1 spot.
Nope. No, she'll still be the bottom. See, the problem is they've been kind of jockeying her back and forth. I think it's about time for them to pull Maeve and rework her like they did Shudderwalk, because the +2/+2 stats she had before, but the minion was only dormant for 2 turns. The stats aren't what helps the minion. It's the fact that it's dormant for 3 turns is the problem, because you're sure you get a minion for 2 gold less than normal, but you have to wait a full 3 turns to get it. Yeah, it's very. It needs to go back to 2 turns and maybe adjust the cost or stats again, because I really don't think. Honestly, I'd like to see it make a minion in Bob Tavern dormant, get it after 1 turn, and no stat increase. Basically, you get a 1 gold minion.
Okay.
Delayed 1 turn with no stat increase.
Okay.
That's what I would do. But honestly, I think she's still going to be bottom of the barrel. According to HS Replay, the most common placement for Maeve is 8th place.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Then we had a change to Malygos. Malygos' old ability was cost 0, replace a minion with a random one of the same tavern tier. The new ability is also 0, replace a minion with a random one from the same tavern tier twice per turn.
So this is the one I was trying to get, because I really wanted to try this out, because I've always liked Malygos, and there are ways to buy same tier minions as what you bought and then re-roll it to try to raise your chance of getting goldens. Some people use it on Bob's Tavern minions. I like to use them on the minions on my side of the board, and the fact that you can do it twice increases the chance that you can develop into golden minions by making sure you have this same tavern tier across the board. I don't think this is going to increase the win rate that much. I think it's going to increase the win rate a bit, but I don't think it jumps a tier. I think right now he's like a tier 3 hero.
Yeah.
I think he still stays a tier 3. He might go closer to tier 2, but I don't think it's going to be a huge change.
Okay. All right, so then that brings us to, there were a few arena balance updates. Basically, they just said they've updated the appearance rate of cards to ensure class balance remains close to the ideal 50% win rate. Specifically, the win rate of Druid, Warrior, and Demon Hunter should now be decreased. The win rate of Mage, Priest, Rogue, and Shaman should be increased. And the win rate of the other classes should be roughly the same as it was before.
So other than that, they did bug fixes and game improvements. But I did want to mention the one thing that's not in the patch notes is no changes to duels.
That's
correct. And we
did
see some sizable changes to duels the last patch. Is this saying that they're not really focusing on Duels content, or is this saying that Duels is in a good spot? Because I
For
played a
me,
little bit of
it's
Duels.
like you said, they did a big Duels patch recently, so I feel like no changes to Duels in this patch means they feel like it's in a good place at the
Okay,
moment.
because I think I played 2 runs of Duels because I'm trying to spread out the little I'm able to play. I'm trying to at least get as much playtime in each of the modes so I can report on it mainly
Mm-hmm.
and see how things change. And Duels just feels good to me. I mean, I'm not a big Duels runner. I usually get 4, maybe 5 wins as an average. And it's not my favorite mode, but I enjoy playing it. And since the last balance change, I've really liked Duels.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see they're not doing any balance changes to Duels here because that tells me they think it's in a good spot. Uh, we'll just have to see if they make. We want to see changes in Duels because you kind of want to shake things up over there from time to time. But I don't think it needs to change every single patch.
Right. Right. So, all right. That pretty much does it for the patch notes. If you guys want to read all of those individual bug fixes and game improvements, you can find those listed on our website over at heropowerhs.com. So, that brings us to this week's deck list, and as Zerotio has alluded, we are going to be talking about the Handbuff Paladin. So this deck was seeing quite a lot of play in the meta pre-nerf. I've run into it a couple of times this week, still post-nerf. So I know it's still out there at some levels, and so you guys are going to see it. I'm gonna run down the deck list, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll play a few games of it. So the deck list is Argent Squire, Knight of Anointment, Prismatic Jewel Kit. Then you got 2 Righteous Protectors, 2 Convictions, 2 Encumbered Pack Mules, 2 Hand of a Doll, 1 Murger McGurgle, 2 Alliance Bannermen, 2 Catacomb Guards, 2 Robes of Protection, 1 Blade Master Samuro, 1 Curial Rome, 2 First Blade of Ren, 1 copy of Moonfang, 1 Overlord Runtok, 1 Talon Fordring, 1 Battleground Battlemaster, 1 High Lord Fordragon, and 1 Varian King of Stormwind. So, Zerotio, I know you said you hadn't got a chance to play this very much, but as our resident Paladin expert, what's your take on this archetype of Handbuff Paladin?
So I played this quite a bit before the nerfs, and it was good. The secret paladin seems to be better than this, but the big thing was quest mage, and depending who you talk to, the robes of protection were put in there for the quest mage. However, the win rate against quest mage is still right around 45%. So it wasn't terrible. It's very winnable, but the quest mage kind of took the lead on that win rate against this deck.
Mm-hmm.
And when quest mage was so prevalent, it was hard to play this on the ladder. Now that quest mage has been nerfed, it's probably more playable now, though this deck has also been nerfed with Battlegrounds Battlemaster as well as Conviction being nerfed. But it does pretty good against the Warlock, which we also said that Quest Mage is being played even after a nerf because it's good against the Warlock. So while you might play this to counter the Warlocks, because the faster aggressive Quest Warlock, you're 60% win rate over, and the kind of more controlled Quest Warlock, you're 52%. So it's good in that matchup, but again, the quest mages are being played even after nerf because they're good against Warlock. So you might run into bad matchups with quest mage. So it's kind of depends on what you're seeing at your rank. If you're not seeing a lot of quest mage, but you're seeing a lot of Warlock, you might want to play this. However, if you're seeing a lot of shaman, which is really popular right now, this deck isn't very good against the shamans that are not the aggressive elemental shaman. The aggressive elemental shaman, you have like a 55% win rate against, but all the other ones are sub 50%. Not too terribly much other than quest shaman, which is closer to 45. So it's still good. It's tier 2. It can win games. Yeah. I didn't do well with the 2 games that I played with it post nerf, but again, I haven't had a lot of reps. Yeah, I usually don't like to give too much of a definitive decision on a deck unless I played 10 games with it.
Right. So, all right, well, we're going to definitely play a couple of games with it. I'm in gold. You're in diamond. Do you want to drive or do you want me to drive?
I can drive. I have the deck. I can drive.
Okay. All right. And I guess that's going to kind of do it for us this week. If you are joining us on YouTube, please stay tuned as we are going to play this deck live. If you are listening to us via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us at this time. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power. I totally missed saying that last week.
All right. Yeah, Matt at Arms was super excited. He got to say that last week. I get to say the thing. Discord. Do I get to say the thing? I get to say the thing.
He's like, I asked how the show went. He was like, it was a good show, and I got to say the thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
All right.
Well, I never thought, I remember when we started the podcast and I said, hey, I got this really silly catchphrase I want to say at the end of every show. And you guys are like rolling your eyes. Fine. Okay. If it's a deal breaker, then sure, we'll let you do that. And it has really caught on. I've heard other content creators, streamers, podcasters say it. It's really, it's pretty neat. I've enjoyed what little I've added to the community by just saying, don't forget to use your hero power.
Yeah. All right. So, just waiting on you to find a worthy opponent to test this deck against.
I will find opponent. Let's see if it's worthy or not. I'm almost positive I have spectate on.
Yes, you do.
Okay, good.
I have clicked on the spectate boss. We will see if I am successful.
And we get a mage. This is what I was worried about.
Alrighty.
However, we do have robes of protection in our opening hand.
Which is good. I have beaten a mage. One of my wins with this deck was against a mage,
So, I mean, robes of protection are really going to help us early. They're not going to be able to brain freeze us, but they will be able to flurry us still. I think what do you think of this hand? I want to keep McGurgle and robes of protection.
I agree.
I don't think we need Samuro because they're not going to play minions.
No, I think we throw back both Samuro and Four Dragon.
Okay. And then we run McGurgle out maybe on one. Because they're going to play Quest, and then they're probably going to... Handbuff.
Alliance Bannerman is good.
Yeah, Alliance Bannerman's really good. The question is, do we slow play this, or do we try to go out the gate?
Well, now that we've drawn into Cariel, I think we wait and coin out the Bannerman next turn.
Because he's going to have some kind of spell.
Uh-huh.
The Cariel's not a big deal, because we're not going to have anything to rush into. So he didn't have to do a damage spell. Oh, double Bannerman.
Oh, wow. Do we just turn 2 Bannerman, turn 3 Bannerman? Or is that too greedy?
I think I like that play. Let's start with turn 2 Bannerman and see what he does with this minion. It probably gets burnt down. Oh, that was a great draw, the first blade. Again, a lot of these rush minions don't really get the benefit of rush because it's mage and they're not going to play a lot.
Yeah.
That is most likely Ice Barrier, but I think we just got to power through it.
Just swing face. See what
Swing
it
face
is.
and Barrier.
Yeah.
Or in Bannerman.
Yep.
So next turn we can Robes of Protection and Argent Squire.
Or a Knot of Anointment, yeah.
I like the Argent Squire because it's a little stickier.
Okay.
Because it has the Divine Shield.
So he's just going to go face with the Ignite.
Igniting face, ignoring minions?
That's perfect.
Okay, so a lot of this tells me he has minion targeting spells, so he's probably going to Brain Freeze. That's why he's not using the spells to clear our minions, because he wants our minions in play. So, I think Robes of Protection and Argent Squire is the way to go.
I'm fine with that.
Because now he can't target anything, but he can still flurry. He can still use his AoE.
Yeah.
But this is going to make things a little... He can't ping off the Divine Shield now.
So next turn, I think we play Conviction and maybe McGurgle and Knot of Anointment. Maybe
That
not
sounds
necessarily
good.
in that order, but yeah.
We could go Conviction, Knight of Anointment, Conviction if we draw it.
That's true. That's very true.
Because we can't Hand of a Doll because we can't target our minions. Wow, he used a Fire Sale. Which tells me he probably has the second one.
Okay.
So I like the... start out with Conviction.
Yep.
Into Knight of Anointment.
Yep.
And then hopefully we draw Conviction. We didn't. Then we'll just go ahead and McGurgle Prime.
Yep.
And swing face.
Yep.
And that gives us another Divine Shield minion on the board. If he has another Fire Sale, the McGurgle Prime still stays alive.
So he is digging with his refreshing spring water.
He likely is digging for Fire Sale. He needs a Fire Sale.
It's the only real AoE damage he has, isn't it? So
well, he can Flurry, which will stall the board. He can Flurry, which will stall the board, but it doesn't deal with the board.
Hot Streak. His
Hot Streak into Fire Sale.
Into Fire Sale. He got it.
Yeah, yeah. But we can now buff... Oh, and he got the Flurry. Now he has the Dawn Grasp in the hand. This is where it starts getting bad and tricky.
Okay.
So, First Blade of Rin is probably the best stat-wise.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we could...
Play a Pack Mule?
Yeah. I don't hate that. Either play a Pack Mule
or do we Hand of a Doll on McGurgle?
I think we Hand of a Doll. That protects him a little bit for damage. Because it's basically similar stat lines.
Yeah.
Plus 2 attack. If he doesn't deal with this and we draw... we drew the Battleground Battlemaster. But if he doesn't deal with this and doesn't... Okay. Pings that off and that's it?
We win.
If that's all he does, yes.
Nope, there's the first flame. Okay.
Okay. Another first flame?
Nope, Brain Freeze.
This is where it gets difficult. Okay. Getting that damage in.
What do we... Yeah, Carriel... Hand of a Doll, kill the...
Yeah, and then play the Arch Squire.
Yeah.
Arch Squire on the left, so we still have
Yes.
value for Battleground Battlemaster. But this is where they can start popping off.
Uh-huh.
I've already used one refreshing spring. There's the second cram session. So hopefully they didn't have it. And they've only played one in Cantor's Flow, which is usually enough. They got to deal with the board at some level. And a ping.
Nine-point fireball. What do you think about playing Varian here?
Varian's good. Moonfang's stickier.
Yeah.
So if we play Varian...
But, let's see, Moonfang is a 6/3, so he'd have to do 3 individual pieces of damage to it. His ping, and then 2 other damages to remove it. What we want is for it to stick around long enough for Battleground Battlemaster to allow it to attack twice.
And hopefully draw the other conviction.
Yeah. Oh, this is tough. What do you think? What is your opinion on this situation?
Like the Moonfang and a Pack Mule.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Just give us some beef on the board. If we draw into the other conviction, that's a lot of damage. If it hits the Moonfang.
Yeah.
Because that's 18 damage if it hits the Moonfang, and we can put Battleground Battlemaster. And see, they're almost done drawing. It's just a tough matchup. I know a lot of people say it's not, but like he's won the game now. According to HS Replay Stats, in my rank, it's about a 45% win rate against this deck.
Right.
And the reason you're playing the Paladin is to try to farm the Warlocks. But that's the reason that they're playing the Mage, is to try to farm the Warlocks. So
yeah.
I am falling back down to rank 5, Diamond 5 and 1 star. Okay. It's going to be really hard to get Legend this month.
Yeah.
I thought it would, after nerfs, it'd be a little easier to pull some wins and, play some consistent decks, but I got up to Diamond 3. Again, I just haven't had the time to play. With my play rate and kind of how I play, it usually takes me 8 to 10 hours to go from Diamond 5 to Legend of good, solid play.
All right, so we want to throw back the Pack Mule, the Moonfang, maybe keep the Carriel and the Righteous Protector?
I don't see a reason to keep the Carriel because you're not going to have much to rush into.
Okay.
I'd rather draw
again, it is another Mage.
Yeah, or another Mage. Itachi MD, that's not our Itachi.
I don't think so.
No, unless he changed his name, and he didn't, because I have him on my friends list, and I don't see. And Itachi's probably high legend right now.
Yeah.
Oh, he drew into Pack Mule again. Do we just play Righteous Protector?
I think so.
Play a curve?
Yeah.
Hope we draw into Bannerman?
Yep. Or
I hate when you throw back
Prismatic Jewel Kit. We haven't seen that yet either.
Yeah, there's only one in this deck because I've noticed it's not as basically it's only good if you get it within the first 2 turns. There's another Pack Mule. He pinged off that Divine Shield. So do we want to play the McGurgle?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good on curve play here with.
He didn't develop anything into his quest.
Yeah. Okay. He's going to rune
Okay.
Lord.
What do you think about coining out the first Blade of Ren? These Divine Shields are really kind of throwing him off.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's going to be a sticky minion he'll have to deal with.
Ooh. Or just robes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're going to force him to have a
fire sale.
Fire sale.
And it's not reduced right now.
So it would be full mana 4 cost.
I mean, he does need a fire spell. There's his fire spell. If he follows that up with a fire sale, he's in a good spot and probably going to win this game.
Devolving missiles, okay.
1, 2.
Yes! Yes!
It's actually really
He
good
was
for
not
it.
expecting that.
No, he wasn't. He's probably got a brain freeze stuck in his hand. That was bad rolls. What's 0 mana ignite? Oh, because of the... Gotcha. So he did not develop the frost spell he needed.
Yeah.
So... do we still just do the Ren? That's better than 2 pack meals, right?
Yeah, I think so. And then hit him for 3, yep.
And the Divine Shield's a little stickier if he does get the fire sale. There's his frost spell.
Yeah.
So that's part 2 done. But now he's looking for a non-targetable frost spell. Devolving missiles. Whiff.
Oh, yes!
He is throwing his mouse or his iPad.
Okay, now I think we just... Do we coin out the Battlemaster and hit him for 10?
We know that's an ice barrier. We'll hit him for 11.
Oh, yeah.
3 damage after the ice barrier, but that's fine. That little Murloc tiny fin is he's just taking the game for us.
Yeah. So let's hope he didn't draw into any additional draw. There's fire sale.
And he didn't play it?
Nope, he traded it for an
Why
arcane
would you
intellect.
not play the fire cell? Unless he's not confident he can get the extra 1 damage on the robes of
There's
protection.
a flurry, okay.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, hit the worst and probably the best minion for him.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a fire spell. Why did he not play the fire sale?
Primordial, okay.
He should have played the fire sale. I think that was a misplay. I don't know if it was a misclick, but I think it was a misplay. Hey, can't ping that.
All right.
That's nice.
Yeah, so we can rebuild our board if he finds some way to destroy it. Do we just swing for 9 and play an encumbered pack mule?
It seems weird, but I think we also play the Catacombs card. I think the lifesteal might be relevant.
Okay.
So I'm gonna place the pack mule on the far right, and it seems weird. I'm gonna put that Catacombs card next to the robes so I can get 2 ticks of the lifesteal.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna play Argent Squire on the far left, fill our board up.
Don't you? Shouldn't you have played it next to the Battlemaster instead of the robes? If you wanted 2 ticks.
Yeah, you're right. I I was thinking of the wrong minion. You're right. What did he just play? Oh, he played Fire Cell with the
For 5 damage, yeah.
5 damage. Because he played Guild Trader.
Yep.
That's fine.
So,
We have
Moonfang, Robes of Protection? Well, we can't do both, but Moonfang, just hero power and swing for 3.
what if we robes and double pack mule?
I mean, that's an efficient way of getting rid of all of our mana, yeah.
And it also is really, I mean, he found it hard to clear that board. And with conviction, it can be lethal.
Lethal, yeah. With conviction or
What?
Hand of a Doll.
They what? They main deck Spice Bread?
Looks like it. Overlord into the Spice Bread.
Yeah, I think so. And then we just go face
Yeah.
and hero power. I mean, we're only buffing the Moonfang, but we got rid of the minion
Moonfang is a tough minion to get rid of.
Yeah. They have to play their Dawn Grasp, and they can't. They need another Fire Sale, but it would have to be increased in damage. So yeah,
All right.
that was a win, and Robes of Protection gave us that win.
Yes, it did.
So
Robes
we
of
want to do one
Protection
more.
was a huge winner there.
One more.
One more. Yeah, we're 1-1.
Hopefully we don't get another mage, but we probably will. Mage is really popular right now because Warlock's really popular right now.
Yeah.
Need to find out what farms mage. Shaman, I think.
Maybe.
Mage Hunter. I have to look up stats. Here's Druid.
Okay, so something other than mage. Ooh. I actually think we keep the Overlord here. Do you?
I do.
We coin him out on 4 and see if we can't slow play the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not against that. Probably Knight of Anointment turn 1.
Yep.
Kind of force him into hero powering it. Make him use a suboptimal hero power turn.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this whole hand. We could play something sticky on turn 1, but I'd like to see if we can draw into Conviction. Okay, so this is a hero power. So our taunts are going to be important later. There's a Conviction. Let's do the Knight of Anointment.
See if we draw into Hand of a Doll. We do.
We did. Okay. I think we hold on to as many taunts as we can.
Mm-hmm. And try to buff them up as much as possible.
Yeah. Until he starts having to go through the taunts. Because taunts kind of throw this deck off because they need to swing at your face.
Right.
Master's not bad. Is it weird just to hero power here?
I don't think so.
I mean, I might play Argent Squire next turn. I want him to play something on turn 4 that puts a minion on the board. There's the one rush minion that gives him attack. Maybe he'll play it. This deck doesn't run a lot of minions. We need to get value for Overlord run deck. That's got to go to our face, right?
I would think so, yeah. So do we Hand of a Doll here? To get an extra card in our hand?
Yeah, I think so. That's good. Then we Argent Squire next to it. I think it's a little early to put out the Righteous Protector.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Get a little pressure, sticky minion. We need a minion to be able to rush into.
That's true, we do.
That's the problem with this deck is a lot of your rush minions give you the fuel. And, with your Carial Roams and your Overlord Runthaks and your Samaros, they kind of help you finish that off. But if you don't have anything to rush into, then... So these non-minion based decks like the Quest Druid and the Quest Mage cost 2 less. So the Overgrowths. Another Lunar Eclipse. Then he just hero powers?
Yep.
Do we coin out the run deck anyways? Make him deal with it? He's got 3 cards. He'll have to do 6 damage to it. If he doesn't, then we can start flooding the board.
Yeah.
Being able to first Blade of Ren and Righteous Protector next turn.
I think if he doesn't kill this and we get an attack with it, we follow up with Robes of Protection so that he can't target it.
We'll want to do Robes and Righteous Protector. There's the rush, and then he'll use his attack to finish it off.
Yep.
That was a minion we wanted to see him play.
Okay, well that's not good. Just play Talon here.
I don't hate Talon here. He's going to get another attack off, though. And that's going to advance his quest even more.
Yeah.
Do we take our Samuro value now and then throw a Righteous Protector next to it?
I mean, I guess that's an option. It removes it so he doesn't get another buff.
I think that's what we do. Maybe we should have held out for the Park Panther, but I just think he was purposely not playing into that. That advances the quest, but then he won't have the other attack.
Yeah.
It's probably a Talon turn. Guess the way he's going more. Does he get it?
He does.
He does. That's Fungal Fortune was a more. Okay.
And he got all 3 cards.
Talon Swing Face?
Yeah, I think so.
The other option is Conviction, First Blade of Ren. It's more damage now, and when he has to punch through the Protector,
I think we Talon,
okay.
Swing Face, and then if he removes the 1/1 and the 1/2, we can Moonfang into Conviction.
Okay, I don't hate that. We're going to get our Varian Ren, so we can Varian Ren on 8, and that's going to be a really big taunt in his way.
Yes.
It is, right? Yeah, taunt. Righteous Protector. We still have Righteous Protector in the deck. Ooh, is that our only taunt? So we did not draw the Righteous Protector. Oh, no, we have a cover back. No, okay.
Yeah.
Again, this is the 3rd deck in a row where our rush minions are kind of dead in the water.
Yeah.
Resizing pouch is so good. And it wasn't good when it first came out, but now with this set, it's just so good. There's something we can rush into finally.
Yeah.
So Conviction is going to hit one of our 1 attack minions. He pops the shield. Interesting.
Okay. So let's look at this. Is there a better option?
So Prismatic Jewel Conviction, it'll hit one of our one attacks so we can clear the 4/4. And then we can play First Blade of Ren, and when that gets popped, it's going to buff our hand.
Yeah. Okay.
You like that?
I like that.
Yeah. I would have rather the Samuro get, but that's fine. This doesn't have Rush, but it still has the Divine Shield. And when that one loses Divine Shield, the other Ren in our hand will get the buff.
Right.
And if he has to clear the Talon first and then pop the shield, then our Varian Ren
Gets buffed.
will get buffed. Uh-oh. Here comes Anaconda. Oh, wait, discovered? So that's not in this deck. Okay. It's a really good thing to get off resizing pouch, so. We can clear it pretty easily, though. So that goes into
Talon.
Talon, right?
Which draws us Varian.
So we can just play Varian because it'll have Rush. And Divine Shield. There's Guff, which he's going to play next turn. Do we just Varian into that?
I think we do.
Which will buff our hand. So now, if he guffs, he has to punch through that.
Yes.
I mean, mind you, he'll get 8 armor and it negates it pretty much. He'll actually gain an extra armor, but he won't be able to send that damage face. And we got a bunch of pack mules.
There's
that'll be getting
Guff.
buffed.
10/10, that's fine.
This is so he can add it to his hand. It's so let's see here.
So Bannerman first into Carriel into Clear.
So Carriel will get up to what?
6/5. And then when you attack, it'll buff everything else in your hand.
So that means we want to attack first. Then play the Bannerman.
If
so the Bannerman gets buffed.
We don't need the Bannerman to be buffed.
No, but I mean,
we need Carriel. We need Carriel to get that extra 1 attack.
Carriel's going to get 2. Carriel's going to get 2.
Okay.
So this.
Oh, you're saying attack with the Blade of Ren
first.
Yeah.
Then we play the Bannerman.
Yeah. Then you play.
Then we play the Carriel. Then we play a mule.
Yep.
So it's another taunt he has to go through.
Exactly.
And now we have tons of taunts we can keep putting in his way.
Yeah, and our stuff's starting to get really big.
I probably want to weave in a robe next turn.
Yes. Bannerman robe next turn.
Yeah, maybe Bannerman robe. That leaves us 4 mana. We can at least do a pack mule with.
Depending on what he does with our board.
What he clears, yeah.
He is going to have to clear.
Bannerman robes First Blade of Ren. Because that will clear the Guff.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
3/3. So we're going to want to put our Samuro into that 4-1. So we go Bannerman first.
Uh-huh.
Then we go ahead and play the first Blade of Rin.
Yep. Rush it in.
Rush it in. Run Samuro into the 4-1. And then that gives us room to play the robes. But we don't have a taunt.
That's correct.
Do we just play an Encumbered and Righteous Protector instead?
I mean, I suppose we could.
I think it's more important we have taunts than not targetable.
Okay.
Because he's already got... Does he have another Guff in his hand? I don't think he... No, I don't think he put another Guff in his hand. But he probably has attack bust. We just need those taunts in the way.
Yeah.
I think he's dead now. I don't see him dealing with this board. This is a good matchup.
This is a good matchup. This is exactly what this deck is supposed to do. And there you
So
go.
we got two bad matchups, one of which we won.
Yeah, so we went
It's
2-1.
45% win rate. It's not like a really bad matchup. It's
Yeah.
just sub 50%. And then, okay, so we were 2-1 with this deck. Would I recommend playing it right now? Probably not. But if you like Paladin and you like Handbuff, it's not a bad deck to play.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, gang. That's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you've not done so already. And if you are interested in more details on our patron-only Discord, you can find out more about that over at patreon.com/heropower. And until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys. I'm going to go take a nap.